Good morning. This is the first time I've done a live stream on YouTube. So this is an interesting experiment. I'm wondering if I'm getting an echo like I usually do at home when I do this. This is the first time I've done a live stream and see. Okay. Testing. Okay. Looks like mic's working. Let's just take a moment and breathe together. I wanted to come on here today to be in response to a question that someone asked me about moving energy along your bones in your body, and in particular about bringing energy down and into the ground instead of always bringing it up. So I'm going to just sit for a moment and sense it in my body and invite you to also just go by how you're feeling right now, connect to your breath and to sensation, and see if you can, in that meditation and body scan, notice where your energy feels like it's mostly. So where it's in your body, if it's going down more, going up more, or sort of blocked somewhere. See if you can get a reading on that. Okay, so wondering what you felt in that just a few minutes or seconds. I want to first say what energy is, right? So energy includes the sensations in our body as well as the emotions that are connected and felt through our body. That's energy as well, emotional energy, spiritual energy, this feeling of consciousness and presence could be spiritual energy. And there's also mental energy. So mental energy definitely, to me, feels like a lot around here. And that definitely is more going up, honoring that. And it's definitely has its value in learning how to regulate mental energy. And mindfulness and meditation are two really good activities you can do to start to become aware of how you're using your mind and the thoughts that you run and how to quiet down the noise. Now, physical energy felt as sensation. They're all connected. So, the emotions and the sensations, spiritual energy, mental energy, they're not completely separate. They are all woven together, but we can have a tendency towards one or the other. So we might be stronger in mental energy and 10% sensory sensation. And we can also, just like we can practice meditation to quiet the mind, we can, as the mind becomes quiet, we can access more sensation. When the body is more relaxed, when we're paying attention to it, we soften and come into the body with more depth. So you could think of that, just that practice, as coming home to the body, and that is grounding in and of itself and more of a downward energy. Now, to get even more in depth would be to explore your body's anatomy, learning about your anatomy. So to be fully in your body, you want to be able to sense it in detail. And that takes a little bit of both mental. So looking at anatomy books and looking at skeletons, as well as looking at your own anatomy and becoming aware of how you use your body. So if you go into the bones of the feet and the metatarsals, there's all these little bones in the center of the feet, and then the toes, and they come up into the foot, the metatarsals, and the arches of our feet. And then the calcaneus, the heel bone, largest bone there. So if we look at an anatomy of a foot, and then we become aware of, like, X-ray looking right through the skin of your own foot and into the bones and how they're placed on the earth, you can use awareness to notice how you move energy through your feet. Now, your feet are horizontal to the earth. So as you come down into your foot and then push off with a step, you can do that in slow motion. You can become more attuned to making subtle adjustments, as well as just presencing how you feel sensation through the bottoms of your feet. Lots of nerve endings there. So our feet are meant to feel different textures, surfaces. So being aware, like a meditation, of all that's available with your feet and letting go of any distraction, staying with the feet, noticing feelings as they arise. So some feelings that bring energy upward include fear, like, if you ever see a cat when they're afraid, their back arches, our arches of our feet can do that when we're in fear. And we can be in fear and not even have a story around it. We can just feel a certain level of anxiety. Sometimes I can feel that walking into a room. If there's a lot of fear in the room, I'll feel my body respond to it. And then I get the chance to say, wait a minute, and move slower, allow my feet to drop down into the earth, even deeper than the earth, going deeper than the surface of the earth or the floor, going below and deeper and deeper and deeper, roots that go down deep. So another cat metaphor. So my cats will sometimes rest their bodies on my heart. They just come up for snuggles. And sometimes they hunker in. I mean, they just like pull this magnetic energy into me. And I feel that. And it's very curious and very feels lovely. But we can also do that with our feet. We can sort of hunker in and magnetically be one with what's underneath us and into that depth. So that takes not avoiding the emotion, not it's actually being with it and softening around it. So all of the downward flow has a lot of the fear, anger, frustration. If you see someone who's frustrated, that want to kick their feet, that this part of our body naturally responds to those emotions, those heavier emotions. So the letting go of the always trying to be light and avoiding what's dark and going into her even more. It's also, you consider that as we age, we start to move closer to the earth. So there's this like death, of letting go and putting things down. So that fight and that energy of always striving for the light, I'm always going to go that way to the light. I'm always going to go that way, isn't necessarily the best thing for our body to stay in balance. We need to have the downward flow. And the downward flows yin into the earth, into the emotions, into all that is possible, and holding it with equanimity to all that is light and feels great and makes us feel expanded. They're both needed and necessary and essential for us as a community, as together, so we can be compassionate with each other and walk each other home, as Ram Dass says, be with each other as we move through grief and gratitude and light. It's all the same. It's all one. So there's the feet and the awareness of the feet. You could also consider, like, the awareness of the feet is how we learn to walk from our family's patterns isn't necessarily always the best function or use of our feet. So realigning to what feels right through how we walk on the earth, and honoring as well the gifts that we've been given from our ancestors, that we are alive at this time, and how all the patterns of how we've learned to love, how we've learned to get in through life, how we've learned to manage emotions, like all of those qualities are within us and help us to move forward. And the parts that are not as functional just take tweaking, just like you turn your foot a little to the right or a little to the left and lean just a little differently. So we're not completely letting go of things that we've learned that are so essential in our uniqueness, honoring that. So the anatomy of the feet, when we walk, the energy of how we articulate our feet gets communicated up into the calves. So that's kind of an upward flow, and into the thigh bone and into the pelvis and the hip joints, this sacral center. So as we play with walking and bringing energy up with a hip sway, we can also run it down the bones. So the way the muscle fibers work are not in just one way. We need to train our body to also have stability and to be able to give back. That could be the rest phase or the pauses, and then the movement or the direction up. So we want to have, just like inhale and exhale, moments where we work with that letting go, putting it down, the pull of gravity, the relaxation, the support, and then the action that comes with ease, the least amount of effort, and the highest state of awareness of how we move our body. This is a really good practice of self-healing, of sinking in to the body more, and appreciation. You may also feel that exhale is part of resting into the earth, the pull of the earth, and resting in instead of resisting, always squeezing and bringing it up, but resting in and staying in that rest with whatever happens around us and within us. There's a couple of other things that come to mind about this downward energy and how important it is. One, our bodies need to, we defecate, we take energy in, we take food, we search for food, we search for what we need for nourishment. We integrate it through digestion, taking in an experience and integrating it into our life, integrating the food into our body. Then we need to let go of the waste, right? It's downward. Childbirth, downward usually feels better. You use gravity to help you, and then the baby starts to move down, and you're balancing that fire energy of pain, and you're softening and opening around it so that baby can come through. So this downward is that softening and opening instead of always seeking and grasping, sinking down and in. Letting go. I hope this is helpful. Let me know. And thanks for listening. We have a dance today, by the way, online from home. And we also have one at Lido Beach tonight. Happy new moon, dark moon. Good time for intentions.